Hey everyone, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer, and today I would like to talk about how Mute is different in a 5-stack than in solo queue. And for me, it's a lot more of a difference than I initially would think. You know, it's pretty simple with Mute. You would think, well, I have my 4 spots that I put my Mute jammers, and maybe I gotta change them because the 5-stack that I play with uses Bandit, Cade, or needs something else, you know? Something like that. But for me, it's a little bit more because I've been playing Mute pretty much since this game first came out. I've always kind of had Mute as my back pocket, my go-to operator if I'm sucking or if I'm just not doing good. The other one is Rook. And I've kind of learned a couple tricks. One of the things that I always do, because I come from solo queuing, man, one of the things that I always do, no matter what, even if I got a Mozzie, Bandit, Cade, is I put my Mute jammers in drone spots. That's the first thing I do when I spawn in, like when I solo queue, right? Because I don't know what my teammates are going to do. I don't know if they even care about droning. You know, I get on a team with 4 fraggers, and so I'm really the only person dealing with drones. Now what I do is, because it's ranked and I really don't play in the Diamond or Champion levels where droning is, you know, good, and because, especially on Xbox, where they have to spot me, so they don't even have comms, so it really is like, I know I'm getting spotted, is after I put my jammers down, once I get my reinforcements up, and I get my Rook armor, if it's there, and I make the rotate holes, I will just move the Mute jammers to walls and call it a day, right? If there's a Bandit, I will, and he's not Bandit tricking, I will kind of move 2 of my Mute jammers and leave them in the common drone spots. Or, you know, some combination of moving a couple. Oh my god. And that's pretty much how it is every round. Because of the lack of coordination, I really don't see a point in having one spare in case there's a Dokkaebi all the time. Or something like that. Or putting the jammers in really weird spots because, well, I'm solo queuing and I did a lot on Xbox where there's basically no comms. So, like, if I put a Mute jammer in a weird spot and I find a drone jammed, it's not really going to help me to call out because no one's listening anyways. That might change on PC. But that's kind of how I use Mute as a solo queue. Every single round I block the drones, I kill the drones, and then I put them on walls. In a 5-stack, though, it's very, very different. So there's the obvious one, which is because you're in a 5-stack, you probably have a preset strategy, or you're just going to try to mold together, right? So, honestly, there's less moving of the Mute jammers that I do. There's occasional, like, I'll move them if I have time, especially, like, if I put it in a spot and they kind of know that the Mute jammer is going to be there, I'll move it, you know, to a different spot. Or my teammates and I will do a deployable shield and we'll put a Mute jammer. You know, we can coordinate that kind of stuff. The other thing that I really need to do is if I'm going to try some different Mute strategy, or my 5-stack, we don't have a strategy, and we're still trying to build one, is I need to call out where my Mute jammers are. That's very important, because they need to know, okay, there's a Mute jammer on this wall, which means I'm safe if I hear a hard breach get put down. Or there's a Mute jammer on this door, which means that a drone's not going to come through and drone me out. You know, that's all very important information that I need to tell my teammates. The same thing goes for moving the Mute jammers. So if we don't have a strategy at all, I will start off by saying, hey, I'm going to put mutes on the doors, and then I'm going to put mutes on default walls or whatever, you know? And if we have a bandit tricking something, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to put a Mute jammer down to help you with the bandit trick, right? That's just kind of generally what I do. And it's weird. It's weird to have to say, hey, I'm putting Mute jammer on this door. I'm putting a Mute jammer on this door. I'm putting a Mute jammer on this wall. And having to remember, hey, if I move it, I have to tell them. That's the really big thing, is you have to tell people what you're doing with your jammers, you know, right? You have to tell people when you make rotates, you know, all that kind of stuff. Now, another benefit for me is I have more time, okay? Because one of the things that if you play ranked enough in a solo queue, you understand, is rotates. And when you play ranked, a lot of people are not, I mean, no one's on the same page. Let's be real. No one's on the same page if you're 5 solo queuers. So if you want a rotate, you go make it first. One of the habits that I have to break, and especially with Mute because he's got his shotgun SMG-11 combo, is I go and make rotates first, and then I do all my jammer shenanigans, right? Because in ranked, someone might reinforce where I want to rotate. And generally, once you get to the higher ranked kind of, I guess you could say, elos, probably about the high gold, low plat. If you make a rotate, it's generally accepted that unless we get absolutely decimated through it, no one's going to reinforce it. Unless they want to put like a Mira down, you know, that's really the only exception. And if you leave something soft next to a Mira, it's not going to get reinforced. So there's things like that. But I always make my rotates first because that's my way in solo queuing of telling people, hey, I'm making a rotate here when no one has comms. So I have more time. I don't have to make that rotate right off the bat if we already know that there's going to be a rotate. And in fact, it's probably better to not make that rotate right off the bat because then the enemies don't see it. The really cool thing about playing in a 5-stack that I think goes a little bit underrated is that you have more freedom of weapon choice, right? If I'm just doing better with Mute's MP5K that day, I'm probably going to want to use it, right? It's just like very simple. And so I can coordinate with my team, say, hey, I want to bring the MP5K. Can someone else bring a shotgun, right? Maybe someone swaps out for a smoke, or they just bring an operator that they decided to use a shotgun with, you know, or we've been bringing a Mira. I'd be like, all right, Mira, look, I'm going to, you know, you can make the rotates. I'll help clear drones or something like that, you know, where you don't always have to bring the shotgun SMG-11 combo, because I think that's a problem that a lot of people, when they play uncoordinated ranked, a problem that we have for us that play ranked uncoordinated is that we have to go into these default roles and suck a little bit of the creativity out of Siege, right? There's Smoke and Mute have 4 weapon choices, and if you solo queue and you get to the high enough rank, you know that you can really only pick the shotgun SMG-11 combo, right? It's just the way it is, you know? With Legion, you're expected to bring the SMG. You can't bring the shotgun. With Hibana, you're expected to bring the assault rifle, not the shotgun. You know, things like that. You're always expected to bring maybe flashbangs on someone or breaching charges or, you know, Thermite and Thatcher. If you're attacking Consulate or Chalet and they're in the basement, you are expected to go for a garage push. It's just the way of life. And it's very freeing to play with a 5-stack. Mute opened up to me when I started playing with a 5-stack, because I'm not stuck in this constant cycle of cover all 4 doors and drone holes and then move the jammers around to walls. I got good at moving jammers, but at the end of the day, I don't like the shotgun SMG-11 combo on every map. Sometimes I want to bring the MP5K. I like the SMG-11 though. Or, you know, I have to make my rotates first. I can, you know, chill and have enough time to just kind of make that rotate and think about where I want to move my Mute jammers. So that's my video on the differences of Mute between a 5-stack and solo queue. I think that Mute's one of those operators where if you solo queue with Mute, it's always a good choice. Mute is always a good choice. You know, that shotgun SMG-11 combo is a very, very good weapon combo. And when you go as Mute and you put down all 4 of your jammers, whether they're on doors or on walls or drone holes, wherever you put them, as long as they're in like one of those spots, you're given to your team. And when you solo queue, that's your part. Your part is denying something, whether it's drones or hard breaches. And when I've gotten into the habit of saying, you know, at least if there's someone in game chat, I say, hey, I'm putting my Mute jammers down to deny drones, or I'm putting my Mute jammers down to deny hard breaches. And it just makes it easier, right? But I am limited to those 2 strategies, because then once I start moving stuff around, if I'm doing comms, man, it's just a disaster. But in a 5-stack, Mute opens up as an operator you can be a little bit more creative with, and especially because he has the bulletproof cam. You can really do a lot if you don't want to bring a C4. So that's my opinions on Mute as a solo queue versus a 5-stack. I think every operator is better in a 5-stack, but I think Mute's one of those operators where if you do have to solo queue, definitely have Mute on your potential operators to use, because he is a very good solo queue operator. So that's all I got to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to tell me in the comments below. I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer. I suck just as bad as you do at video games. I'll see you guys in the next video.